Welcome to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine
What's
a light
your
on
story?
incredible impact. What does accessibility mean to you?
What's your mission?
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spotlight Sessions. My name is Avital and I am so excited about this conversation today. I'm speaking with Tim Torch, who's the Communications HR Manager for Portage DD. How are you?
Yeah, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk with me. Really appreciate it.
Of course, definitely. It's our pleasure. So why don't we just dive right in? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've been with Portage County Board of DD for 6 years now. I've loved my role ever since I've joined. I've been in the nonprofit world for almost 10 years now, and both positions have been in an HR function. And I like to say to people that while I'm not out there directly supporting people and doing those things, I have the pleasure of supporting the people who support the people. So I've been in the nonprofit world for about 10 years. This position is with a government agency, and again, I just absolutely love what I do. It's truly a pleasure to work with the people I do and serve the population I have the opportunity to serve.
Amazing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the organization? So maybe like some of the services that you offer and maybe a little bit about the history and the mission of the organization as well.
Yeah, so the name of the agency I work with is Portage County Board of DD, and DD stands for Developmental Disabilities. What we do is we serve, we're located in Portage County, Ohio, and the population we serve, we have about 1,000 people who have developmental disabilities that we serve in Portage County. They are above the age of 3, and then we also have young people that we serve as well. We have multiple parts of our agency, and that's why it's really great to be able to share this story, because we have an early intervention program that serves kiddos that are 0 to 3. Our goal is to support them, to coach them, to deliver coaching strategies that help the parents work with the child so that they can develop our skills. There are instances where young children come into our program and actually are no longer need services by the time they're done, because they make those developmental leaps that they need to make. At that point, they move on to our SSA department, and our SSA department deals with young people and adults. And we always say that we deal with people from birth to death. It's really an amazing shift that just is happening in the world today, because people are living longer. So our services are more important than ever, because not only are we hitting those young people who are 0 to 3, but they're with us for a longer span of time. It's no longer that they're just with us for 50 years or something like that. Some cases they live 70, 80, 90. I mean, you have 100-plus-year-old people anymore. So our services are really more important than ever, because we're with them from the time they're born until the time they pass away. We do everything. We don't provide direct services. We are not a direct service provider, so we don't have a workshop or a school program that we're running, but we coordinate services through our SSA department, and then we also coordinate programs, whether it's Special Olympics here in Portage County that we deal with region. We actually had our Special Olympics go to the National Special Olympics this year, which was amazing. We do youth programs, transition services for young people who are transitioning from school and looking to go to work, whatever that might look like in their specific situation, and also taking them on tours of local companies. And that's been something really amazing that we've done a lot more recently. We've actually started taking some of our folks two local companies like Giant Eagle or a place called Kent Displays that does boogie boards, or other local area businesses, and they're having the opportunity to tour, to learn what it
Mhm.
is to work in those environments, and also kind of find some of the passions that they have themselves. Because that's the goal. I mean, it's just like you and I, we're working in professions that we enjoy, we love, and it's I'm sure it's sometimes like work, but it's not always like work. There's definitely a there, and we want the same for the individuals we serve too. We want them to find a passion and be able to do something they truly enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. So on that topic of going to businesses and touring the businesses and learning more about businesses, um, what would be a specific message that you might have to businesses or to brands out there about the communities of people with disabilities?
Yeah, believe in people. It's seems like such. I always tell people I work with that the simplest messages can sometimes have the largest impact, and
Mhm.
it is really finding a way to believe in the people that you serve, to believe in your staff, believe in the people that are providing services, believe in the people that you're coordinating services with. And there's a lot of trust in that message. And
Mhm.
also, it goes both ways. The people that our agency runs on local levy dollars. So there is a lot of
Mhm.
trust that happens from the people in the community to us. So it is just it's a big message saying believe in people because it really hits on all aspects. And even we have a board that oversees our agencies as far as fiscal management, hiring, granting power and ability to our superintendent. And there's a belief from the board in our staff, our agency, the people we hire and work with us. And there's a belief in us of that in the community, in that board, that they will definitely be a guiding voice for our agency now and in the future.
Yeah, that's definitely so important. So, kind of to take a step back, I'd love to hear a little bit about what motivated you to become a part of Portage DD. And, you mentioned a little bit about why you love working there so much, but I'd love to hear kind of like what initiated that spark for you.
Yeah, my journey with Portage DD has I, I was talking to some people I work with recently because I've kind of had a my responsibilities and my roles in the agency
Mhm.
have went up a lot over the years. It started as an HR specialist, so my primary responsibility was just working in human resources. That's how I came in.
Mhm.
I found a human resources job posting. I applied. I was interested in. I actually knew some people who work there. Kind of a big part of recruiting anymore is word of mouth. It's like who you know
Right.
somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, but when I got into the agency, it even sparked joy further than I could have imagined. It's one of those things. It 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 was I didn't when you're younger, you don't. It's just kind of a job, I feel, at first, and it's really when you're there and you have the opportunity to buy into the message and the communications,
Mhm.
it becomes a career. And I realized very quickly
Yeah.
when I was with the agency I'm with now, Portage DD, that it became a career for me very
Mhm.
quickly. It became someplace I had a passion for, a place that when bad things would happen, it would actually hurt my heart. And then when great things happened, I know I've shouted for joy, and I've just been excited when the agency has great things happening.
Mhm.
And that's really like I started as an HR specialist. Then I had the opportunity to take on the communications role, and I love the communication side of things, being able to interact with people. Working on various platforms like our Facebook, or we're starting to dabble into like Instagram, Twitter, all of those great things. Haven't quite made it into TikTok yet, but a lot of people have started pushing me in that direction. But this role in this company has even helped me learn a lot about myself, because these are things that I knew how to do, but I didn't realize how much I enjoyed sitting down and creating a post or telling someone's story, and
Mhm.
maybe that is the true love that I found in this job, is being able to be to hear and to be a part of someone's story. Because there's so many things out there, where it's someone who had a premature. We recently did a piece that will be coming out soon about a mother who had twins premature. One of them was underdeveloped and had several procedures on their heart, and it was a sad story. But the beautiful part of it is our early intervention program through the coaching model actually was helping help coordinate services, and then help with the coaching strategy of trying to find supports for them, and to really get the child to the point now where they're actually not going to need our program
Mhm.
much longer. um, Hearing those
It's amazing.
stories, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And
Mhm.
maybe that's one more piece of it, is finding the beauty in what you do. And I found that a lot of people actually are just like, oh, do you have to talk about your work again? Yeah, I love what I do, and I about what I do is as much
Yeah.
opportunity to.
That's amazing. Well, you actually answered my next question, which was if there was a specific individual or instance or someone that you worked with that really stuck with you.
Oh,
And I can't help but also think back to, we can definitely revisit this, but I can't also, well, I can't help but think back to what you said before about believing in people. Um, and I think it goes both ways, like businesses need to believe in their employees, they need to believe in the communities around them, but also employees believing in the companies that they work for when their mission specifically is so strong and so impactful. So I couldn't help but make that tie.
yeah,
So let's definitely revisit the last question, which was if there's another story or something that comes to mind about the communities that you work with.
yeah. I I'm not saying this because my boss may end up watching this. Um, but my superintendent we have now, it's really an inspiring story of how he got to where he is now, and
Mhm.
how he has shifted a culture of an agency. Um, he started um, he started being a mental health counselor. Then he came to our agency as a service and support administrator. He became a supervisor, and then a director of that department, and
Mhm.
superintendent. So he has worked his way through the agency. And the story he told us his first day as superintendent was just a story about, or a kind of philosophy of um, pushing something up a hill. Imagine pushing a
Mhm.
boulder. Imagine pushing a carriage up a hill by yourself or with people in the carriage. It's really hard. But if everyone gets out and pushes together and works together and goes towards the same idea and same direction, things become much easier, and much more purposeful the way you're doing things. And some managers, you hear them say things one time, and then maybe the follow through isn't always there. I The dedication, it's and the way he works and the way he directs our agency, I've just never seen from another manager, director, person I've been
Mhm.
around, and it's inspiring. And I mean, just like I mentioned when I go about my job, uh, in a similar vein, I oftentimes brag about my boss and say how fortunate and how lucky I am. Even independence, like giving me the ability to work independently, or to come up with new and creative ideas across our entire agency. He really he empowers us to do that, and you don't always get that depending on the company you're working with. Um,
Yes,
I
very true.
it, it it's just not anything that I've experienced before in my work history, and I feel so fortunate to have the opportunity to work with. His name is John Vanetti. He's our superintendent, and again, I just am very fortunate to have come across him, and he's someone that not just while I'm working with him, I feel like this experience is going to be something that impacts me for the rest of my life, and for people that I supervise directly. I now have a better understanding of it's not that I didn't know how to treat people. It's just as a supervisor, it's a very different role, and the way he
Mhm.
treats people is the way every employee probably hopes to be treated. So I'm very lucky.
Yeah, definitely. And the last question that I want to ask you, it's a question that we ask everybody, and we always get different answers, which is very interesting. But what does accessibility mean to you?
Yeah, accessibility is it's bringing everyone to the party. It's not sitting back and saying you're not invited for a specific
Mhm.
reason, or you can't come. It's really um, I even heard this and I thought about accessibility when I heard it recently because everyone brags about having an open door policy, but
Mhm.
something I've started believing, I have an open door policy, but I also have a come to you policy where it's not about just I I don't want to always put the pressure on you to come to me. I
Mhm.
want to put the pressure on myself to come to you, and
Right.
that is part, especially in the HR world. That's a good
Mhm.
bit of what accessibility means to me. It's not just saying I'm going to have an open door. It's not just going to be you can go to my website. It's not just going to be you can turn something on and listen in. It's
Right.
going to be I come to you. It's going to be I'm
Mhm.
going to go the extra mile to make sure everyone has a seat at the table and has the opportunity to come join in what's going on.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the spotlight session today. It really was such a pleasure speaking with you. And we'll, of course, in the show notes have all the information about Portage DD and if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how they can do that. But it was really a pleasure, like I said, and I'm looking forward to our next
Yeah.
conversation.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.